Once you've created a chart in QI Macros, click on the chart itself to access the QI Macros Chart Menu tab. In the QI Macros Chart menu, you'll find Chart Tools for adding data and target lines to existing charts and adding text to points, Control Chart Tools for analyzing stability, formatting limits and sigma lines, and showing process changes, and Chart Format Tools to change and update the appearance of your charts and move or copy them. Let's take a closer look. To add data to an existing chart, simply scroll to the bottom of your Excel data table and type or paste your data into the cells. Next, click on the chart to select it. These round anchor points will let you know the chart is selected. Then click the QI Macros Chart tab and select Add Data. At the prompt, type the number of rows of data that you added. In this case, we added 5. Click OK, and the new data will be added to your chart. Rerun stability analysis to check for new unstable points or trends. Click on the chart and, from the QI Macros Chart menu, select Analyze Stability. Adding data to a chart in a QI Macros template is also simple. In this example, we have a C-chart template. To add data to the chart, first click the drop-down arrow in cell B1 and be sure that Select All is checked. This will ensure all input rows are visible. Next, simply type or paste your new data into the cells below your existing data. The chart will update to include your new data points. Now, click the chart and select Analyze Stability to check for any changes. In this example, we can see that there is now a single point above the upper control limit that has been highlighted on the chart and in the data. Control chart limits are calculated from your data. However, you may want to show your own target line or spec limit for comparison. To add a target line, click on your chart, then click on the QI Macros Chart menu tab and select Add Target Line to Chart. Enter the name of your target line at the first prompt and the value of the target line at the next prompt, and click OK. Your new target line will be added to your chart. In some cases, you may want to add text to a point to provide further explanation about your data. To add text to a point, click on the point itself. You'll notice that the first time you click on a point, Excel will select the entire line. Click on the individual point a second time to isolate it. Next, click the QI Macros Chart menu tab and select Add Text to Point. Now, just type the text for your point at the prompt and click OK. Your text will appear next to the point. Anytime you add data, delete a point, ghost a point, or show a process change on a control chart, you should rerun stability analysis on your data. To do this, select the chart. Then, from the QI Macros Chart menu tab, select Analyze Stability. Unstable points and conditions will be highlighted on the chart and in the data. QI Macros defaults to highlighting unstable points and conditions in red, but in some processes, upward trends and points may be good. You may want to highlight these good points and trends in green instead of red. To do so, simply select your chart, click the QI Macros Chart menu tab, click Analyze Stability green up down, and select Analyze Stability green up. QI Macros will highlight your upward points and trends in green on the chart and in the data. If lower trends and points are considered good, Use the same process to highlight those good points and trends in green instead of red. Select your chart, click the QI Macros Chart Menu tab, click Analyze Stability Green Up Down, and click Analyze Stability Green Down. QI Macros will highlight your downward points and trends in green on the chart and in the data. To clear stability analysis on your chart, click the chart, then click the QI Macros Chart Menu tab and select Clear Stability Analysis. All of the data points and lines will now be shown in blue. So if you have a chart with some highlighted conditions, you may want to know which rules were violated. In QI Macros, you can show or hide the numbers of the control chart rules that have been violated. Just click on your chart, then choose Show Hide Rule Numbers from the QI Macros chart menu. The chart will display the number of the rule or rules which have been violated on the chart. If you want an explanation of the rule numbers, click the QI Macros menu tab, then Control Charts. From here, select Control Chart Rules, then select Show Current Rules. This will show you which stability analysis rules are currently in use and an explanation of each rule number. QI Macros control charts calculate and use all control limits to evaluate process stability, but provides options for which control limits you want to display. Most users prefer not to view the sigma lines, so this is the QI Macros default setting. However, if you'd like to display the sigma lines on your control chart, simply click on your chart to display the QI Macros chart menu, then select Show Hide Sigma Lines. The drop-down menu offers you options for displaying the 1 and 2 sigma lines, the 1 sigma line, the 2 sigma line, and the 3 sigma lines, or upper and lower control limits. QI Macros will update your chart and any future charts you create. You only need to set your preference once. It will be retained even if you close Excel or restart your computer. For control charts with varying sample sizes, such as a U-chart or a P-chart, the control chart limit lines are not flat horizontal lines. Instead, they vary. The QI Macros varying control limits are referred to as skyline limits. However, you can choose to display these limits as wavy lines instead. Click on your chart, then click on the QI Macros Chart Menu tab and select Convert Skyline Wave. You can then select either Convert Skyline to Wave or Convert Wave to Skyline. If you'd like, you can change the QI Macros control limit default display for all of your P, U, XBAR R, and XBAR S charts. Click the QI Macros menu tab, then click Control Charts, Control Chart Rules, and select P, U, UCL, LCL format. That's it. Now all of your future P, U, XBAR R, and XBAR S charts will have wavy limits. If you have a chart template with unfiltered data or blank rows, you can use the Reset Skyline Limits function to filter your data set and distribute your data points more evenly on the chart plot area. Select your chart, then click the QI Macros Chart Menu tab and select Reset Skyline Limits from the Convert Skyline to Wave drop-down menu. Your data will be redistributed to fill the chart area. You should recalculate control chart limits when the process changes. But what if you're not sure if your process has changed? Just select your chart, click the QI Macros Chart Menu tab, and select Process Change Wizard. The Process Change Wizard will analyze your data and change control limit calculations where it identifies runs and/or trends in your data. It will also rerun stability analysis with the new limits. Generally, control limits are calculated using your first 20 to 25 data points. Those limits are then used to evaluate the rest of your data. If you have a process change, you should recalculate your control limits beginning with the first point after the process change occurred. Click the data point in your chart where the process change occurred. The first time you click the point, Excel will select the entire line. Click the point a second time to isolate it. Next, click the QI Macros Chart menu tab and select Show Process Change from the Process Changes drop-down menu. QI Macros will calculate a new set of control limits starting at the point you selected. You can show more than one process change on a chart. Don't forget to rerun stability analysis using your new control limits. In this example, we see that this section is no longer unstable after our process change. Keep in mind that if you have an X and an R chart, you'll need to follow these same steps to show the process change on your R chart. When you create a control chart using QI Macros, the data you initially selected to create the chart is the baseline data used to calculate the control limits. If you selected 20 points, 20 points are used. If you selected 14 points, 14 points are used, and so on. When you add data to an existing chart, the limits stay the same. However, you may want to change the data points used to calculate the control limits after you've added new data. For fixed control limits, click the last point you want to include in the control limit calculations. The first time you click the point, Excel will highlight the entire line. Click the point again to isolate it. Then, click the QI Macros Chart menu tab and select Fix Control Limits from the Process Changes drop-down menu. QI Macros will use the selected point to calculate the fixed control limits. The center line up to and including the point you selected will be dashed, and the center line to the right of your point will remain solid. Don't forget to analyze stability using your new control limits. While not usually recommended, you may want to leave a point on a control chart, but remove it from the control limit calculations. To do so, click the point to be removed. The first time you click the point, Excel will select the entire line. Click the point a second time to isolate it. Next, click the QI Macros Chart menu tab and choose Ghost Point from the Process Changes drop-down. The appearance of the point marker will change to indicate that the point has been ghosted. It's a good idea to add text to explain points that have been removed from the control chart calculations. Click the point and select Add Text to Point. Type your text in the prompt and click OK. If you want to check the control limit calculations, select and move your chart over to view the formulas. Click on one of the average cells and look in the formula box. You'll notice that the row containing your ghosted point has been removed from the calculations. Don't forget to rerun stability analysis with your new control limits. To remove a point from your control chart and the calculations, click the point you want to delete. The first time you click the point, Excel will select the entire line. Click the point a second time to isolate it. Next, click the QI Macros Chart menu tab and select Delete Point from the Show Process Changes drop-down. QI Macros will remove the point from the chart and from the calculations. Be sure to analyze stability after deleting a point. You may want to research a specific point on your chart, but if you have lots of data, it can be difficult to identify using the X-axis labels. Instead, simply click the point you're interested in. The first time you click the point, Excel will select the entire line. Click the point a second time to isolate it. Then, click the QI Macros Chart menu tab and choose Select Data for Point under the Process Changes drop-down menu. Your cursor will move to the cell label associated with that data point. If your chart is unfiltered and includes blank rows of data, select your chart and click the QI Macros Chart menu tab, then select Filter Unfilter Chart. QI Macros will filter your data and redistribute your data to fill the chart plot area. If you are using a control chart template and would like to add data to a filtered data set with blank rows or hidden cells, select your chart, click the QI Macros Chart menu tab, and choose Filter Unfilter Chart. This will re-expand your data rows so that you can add data to the template without having to unhide rows. When you're finished adding your data to the template, use the Filter Unfiltered Chart function again to filter out blank rows and redistribute your data to fill the chart area. Suppose you've created a chart and you've customized your font type, color, text size, maybe your line styles and your axis titles. You can save this formatting for use on other charts. Select your chart, then click the QI Macros Chart menu tab and select Remember Format. Now, on new charts, you can simply click the chart, click the QI Macros Chart menu tab, and select Apply Format. Your chart will update to show your formatting preferences. If there is more than one chart on your worksheet, as in this X and R example, you can select Apply to All Charts to update all the charts on the current worksheet. Note, this will not apply formats to charts on other worksheet tabs. If you don't like the format you applied to a chart, select Restore Default Format, then click Apply Format. The chart display will revert to the default formats. To quickly change chart and axis titles, just click your chart, then select Change Titles under the QI Macros Chart menu. Type your axis and chart titles at the prompts and click OK. The chart will display your new titles. To copy your chart to its own Excel worksheet tab, click the chart, then select Move Chart from the QI Macros Chart menu tab. Your chart will be copied to its own worksheet. It's also possible to select your chart and copy it to a PowerPoint presentation, and you can copy the chart to a Word document. You may need to resize your chart and adjust your page orientation in Word for the chart to display correctly. And that's it for the QI Macros Chart Menu Overview. Thanks for watching.